Do you have what it takes to become an ideal citizen of EDO without getting burned up in the fires? Find out with our review of Iki.
Iki is a worker movement set collection game about traversing a feudal Japan marketplace, and I really liked how you could retire your workers and still gain some benefits too.
We didn't start the fire, but it sure killed all of my artisans, and we'll tell you all about it after this quick how to play.
Iki is played over 13 rounds, covering 12 months of the year and New Year's Day.
Each round is divided into 3 phases: the way of life phase, the actions phase, and the event phase.
During the way of life phase, new workers are revealed and players choose their starting position and number of steps.
During the actions phase, players can either hire a worker or get income and then move around the market, performing the action of the space that they end at.
During the events phase, money will be added to worker cards, sometimes players will earn salary, and sometimes there'll be a fire in the marketplace.
Throughout the game, players will earn points called Iki, and at the end of 13 rounds, the player with the most Iki wins. Before you go wandering the marketplace, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button.
All your likes and subscribes really help us become ideal YouTube algorithm citizens.
Iki is a game I saw on social media a lot, and it wasn't until it was nominated for the Kennerspiel de Jahres that Lee was like, hey, we should play those games and test them out and see how they go. And I was like, all right, we'll finally get around to doing it. And I have to say that I really enjoyed this game. The artwork is nice to look at while you're playing, and I like the different mechanics that you have while you're moving around the board. You're moving to the different action spaces, so it's a worker movement game, so you're moving and then performing the action that you land on. And I like the hiring aspect where you have worker cards or artisan cards, and then your small worker moves up, and eventually they can get better abilities until they retire. Then you collect it, so it's set collection, and you get those abilities as well, plus the different colors will earn you points to the game. So I like a lot of different mechanics that are going on with this game. It makes for a really fulfilling game process.
Just from our unboxing, I could already tell that there was a lot going on here. And I mean, the fact that it was a finalist in the Kennerspiel de Jahres, I was like, okay, let's give it a try. So popping it open, you see a lot of great artwork, and then just the concept, right? Like there's a city, you have workers, you're trying to build the city and be the best child of EDO. Definitely really liked a lot going on here with the pieces, the different end game goals, or the way to like rack up points or collect Iki, which the book says it means like chic. So Iki points.
Well, Iki is about becoming the best citizen of EDO. So you're becoming a good citizen, and Iki like a good way of living kind of a thing.
Style, chic points. I was like, oh, okay. Iki.
So the game is played over 13 rounds, but they play really quickly. In the 13th round, it's literally just you placing a worker and then taking one final action. So it's really 12 rounds. There's a different set of fish, tobacco, and pipes for each season. So the rounds are divided into 4 different sections. You have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. And in each season, you have 3 rounds. And at the end of each round, you'll get your salary, and then you'll get new tokens placed out. So you can buy more things, but really you want to try to get a different fish in each season. You want to try to get as much tobacco that you can, because that's end game points. And then you need at least 1 pipe so that you can get a multiplier at the end to multiply that by your tobacco to get double the amount of points of your tobacco. So I like that they change out during the seasons. However, I don't like that there's only 2 of each of them, because in a 2-player game, it's not really that big of a deal. But in a 4-player game, it really does become, all right, who's going to get there first, and depending on the round structure, where you're going, it then becomes, okay, well, they got to that fish first, so that strategy is out of there. Now I'm going to try I got to the pipe first, so now that strategy is out for somebody else. So there can be a couple of times in a 4-player game where having such limited availability of the fish, the pipes, and the tobacco can kind of be an upsetting thing. But in a 2- and 3-player game, I think it's good.
One thing I really like is everyone's given these 4 meeples, or these are your workers, where when you hire them, you put them here, and then every time they're used or this ability is used or you go around the board, you promote them. And then eventually, once you reach the top, you can retire, and then every time you get salary, you can still continue getting whatever's here, and then this guy is now freed up to hire someone else. I don't think we've played something like that. We usually just played like, okay, worker, 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 recall everything. This one's like a recall, but then you still get the benefits of it. So I like that concept of, hey, you did good, worker. You retired, you're still helping me out, enjoy your golden years. Now let's hire the next one. I thought that was kind of funny, and I liked how that worked.
There are also building cards in the game, which will have really high endgame points or possibilities of endgame points depending on the combination, but you have to use one of your small workers on it. So best strategy with the buildings is to try to wait as long as possible before you get that building. You don't want someone else to take it, so it's kind of a pressure luck mechanic of when do I get it, when do I get it? But at the same time, you don't want to get it too soon because then you lose that worker. Plus you increase the possibility of that building going up in the fire if you haven't increased your strength on the fire track enough.
Right off the bat, it didn't really look like a building was like my first move that I should be going for. And like you said, that fire, that like ominous fire that just kind of keeps you on edge in the very beginning, middle, I mean, towards the end, also depending on how much you've built up your fire resistance, I guess. But yeah, that fire, I mean, let's talk about that. I mean, that was like in the back of my head, that's like the boogeyman where I'm like, he's coming. I know he's coming, but what do I do?
So the fire track is something that will determine who gets to choose first when you're choosing your position and your number of steps in the round. So that's one good thing of being ahead in the fire track. But it's also good because at the end of rounds 5, 8, and 11, there's going to be a fire. And there's 4 different stalls that it could go to in the 4 different colors. So you have the purple, the yellow, the blue, and the red. You're gonna like shuffle these up and you're gonna draw one. So we'd have a fire in the blue, which is over here right now, which would then go down this row of stalls until either someone put it out or until it killed everybody basically and burnt down all the buildings. So you have to move up the fire track to be able to defend against the fire. And I like that mechanic and I don't like that mechanic because it's sort of like, well, if you're really trying to do so much, there's already a lot going on and you're trying to focus on the fire track, you can either get lost in the fire track and then not get enough points. But the other thing with the fire, if you're not built up, you're gonna lose. And there were a couple of games when, and this is how I learned the strategy of don't buy that building too soon. I was like, oh, I really want that building. I don't want anyone else to get it. I can afford it, I'm gonna get it. I built the building, I was like, oh wait, there's a fire at the end of this round. I'm not gonna be able to protect myself. I hope it's not that color, and it's that color, and there goes my building. There go 22 points. I don't think the game needs the fire track because it would still be fun without the fire track. I don't think the fire track adds anything to the game.
I think without it, it's like a relaxing, like, okay, let's hire people, go around the market. You know, it's just like, okay, somewhat predictable, right? So this just adds that like spontaneity, that like, I wouldn't call it an X factor, but just something to kind of just keep you on edge a little bit more. Because like, do I get the fish? Do I not get the fish? But this one's just like that looming fire. That's the doom right there. One mechanic that I haven't really decided if I like it or hate it is when you have to like feed workers at the end of a round or something like that. I haven't landed on where I am with that because on one end, it stops someone from just like putting all these workers out there, but you really only have 4. So, I mean, maybe there's the doom, like the starvation of your workers is the doom right there. So there were 2 dooms, starvation and fire.
All right, so those are some of our thoughts. What did you like about the game?
I'd say the 2 biggest things I liked are just the theming overall. I really like that. And then second was just being able to retire those hard-earned workers. I think those are my 2 top things.
I like the choice of where you place your artisan in the different map area and how you have to decide, okay, well, this is a good artisan. People are going to go to this location a lot. So I want to put this one here because I'll be able to retire them quickly. I'd like that thought process during that phase, during that first part of the action phase of deciding which worker am I going to hire and then where am I going to put them. I really enjoyed that. All right, what did you not like about the game?
I would like buildings where, okay, there was a clear advantage if we all just ran towards that building to want to build it because maybe it was like super strong throughout the game. So if the buildings were a bit more focused on and not end game heavy, I would have liked that more. The second thing I didn't really like is, I guess I'm going to land on it, just feeding workers. I don't like having to feed the workers.
So hard to feed people.
Yeah.
I really don't like the fire track. It doesn't make me hate the game because I really did enjoy this game, but the fire track I'd have to say is the thing that I don't like about the game.
Overall, I'm going to give it an 8. I love that you can retire workers. I hate that you have to feed them, but give it a take, right? 8.
Overall, I'm going to give the game a 7. I really enjoyed it. The fire track didn't bring it down too much. I just think it's a 7-level game. However, out of the 2 Kennerspiel de Jahres games that we played, I do like this one better. We didn't get to play Planet Unknown, but between this and Challengers, this is definitely my favorite game over the other one. What about you?
Depends on the crowd, I guess, really. I mean, I definitely want to
just you personally.
Oh, well, No, I mean like the crowd that I want to play with. Or, if it's us, I'd want to play this. If it's like a group of us, I want to play Challengers. But I will say I will pick up the expansion just to see how it plays different. Maybe they did something about that fire track. Who knows?
Maybe they made it even worse. And that was our review of Icky.
What'd you think? Are you ready to be the best child of EDO? Let us know in the comments below.
And if you're enjoying our content, please like this video, subscribe to our channel.
Until next time, I'm Lee.
And I'm Kenny. I go party like a board gamer.